Executive Chef Joseph Schutze. Welcome to our kitchen. Today I'd like to share with you an amazing dessert hailing from the Loire Valley in France. It's called Tarte Tatin. Technically the full French name for it is Tarte de Moselle Tatin, which means the tart of two unmarried women named Tatin. This dessert was created from two sisters in the Loire Valley with the last name Tatin. Traditionally it is done with apple, but I'm gonna use peaches with it. Here we are in summer and I happen to score some amazingly fresh South Carolina peaches. They absolutely gotta be used for this dessert. So join me now as I show you this amazing dessert. It's fun to make and also not overly difficult either. Well, to begin, have a lightly floured workspace and put out your dough. And what we're using, you feel free to either use Puff Pastry or pâté brisé, pie dough or any type of short dough. So I happened to purchase the pie crust frozen from the grocery because I didn't have the time to make. So I'm gonna go ahead and gently roll it out a little. What I want to do is take it, make it a little thinner, perhaps about 1/8 of an inch or so thick. 3 millimeters. And at the end, what I'm looking to do is I'm gonna take the pan in which I'm going to bake it in and kind of get my size for it. What I'm looking to do, make your crust roughly 1 inch larger than the pan that we're gonna bake it in. Don't worry, because as you know, if you baked pies before, whenever you bake it, the crust is always going to shrink. So we are pretty much there. And now I'm gonna brush it lightly with a little bit of butter. Use softened butter, clarified butter. It doesn't really matter, it's your choice. I just happen to have clarified butter readily available. So we're gonna go ahead and put a touch on here. And this obviously is gonna be the side that's gonna make contact with our peaches in the pan. So that, now I will season with a little bit of cinnamon. So now we're gonna take this and transfer it to a sheet pan and put it in the refrigerator to cool. Well, first thing we're gonna do is get a pot of water up to a simmer. And if you're using fresh peaches, we're gonna wanna peel the skins. So if you've ever done it before with a tomato, you core and score. Well, we're not gonna core this. All we're gonna do is score. So you take the tip of your knife and cut a nice X over the top. Don't go too deep into it, like so. And we're just gonna go ahead and blanch it into the hot water. Now, depending on how soft your peaches are, will dictate how long you need to blanch. Mine are really ripe, ready to roll. So I can anticipate maybe 30 seconds or so, 45 seconds for the blanching, and that'll be it. We will remove it once after that time and drop it into a bowl of ice water to shock. And here we are after a minute or so. Good, it's starting to rub off with your fingers a little. That might be, this one's coming off good. So we'll go ahead and remove this to the ice water. I like to check mine. I don't want to overcook the peach and kill it. I want some stability to it whenever, because the cooking process is about to happen whenever it's in the pan with the maple syrup and the bourbon. Oh, I didn't mention there's bourbon in this dish. Traditionally, probably not, but there is in mine. We'll give this in another 30 seconds and then to the ice bath. Now that our peaches have shocked, let's go ahead and remove it from the ice bath and just gently start peeling back the skin. If it's a little bit difficult, sometimes it can, catch up, stick for you a little bit. Feel free to either use a paring knife and just kind of scrape back this way, or you can use a trick like I use for beets, and I will use a paper towel or a tea towel, and then just go ahead and rub it and gently scrape it off. And it's so gentle it doesn't damage the peach or the fruit or vegetable in which you're peeling. So now that we got the skin off, clean my knife a little bit. And now let's just go ahead and gonna cut it in half. And let's remove our pit. Like so. And now, nice and clean, gently cut it into pieces or segments. Try to keep them uniform when it comes to size. It's going to make it a lot easier when you start to put these in the pan and you're shingling them. It's just going to, aesthetically, it's just going to lay there a lot nicer. Like so. Now we will continue this with the remaining peaches. Now for our setup, let's get a non-stick pan preheating over medium-high heat. And let's add our bourbon. This is completely optional. I just love bourbon with peaches. We're gonna go ahead and let this to cook off a little bit. The alcohol will cook off somewhat. We're gonna reduce it by 50%. Now that it has cooked off, let's go ahead and add our maple syrup. Let's add vanilla bean paste and our butter. Now we're going to allow this to come up to a simmer and allow it to reduce by maybe 25% or so. We want it to thicken up a little bit. Here we are. It reduced quite a bit, about 50%. Essentially, you're kind of making a little bit like a caramel. And those of you who are familiar, if you're in America, I'm sure you've heard of pineapple upside down cake, peach upside down cakes, whatnot. Well, this is essentially the same difference. You're caramelizing your sugars, you add your fruit, you would pour your batter on top of it and bake it, and then when you flip it out, you have the caramelized pineapple on top of the cake. Same principle with this, except this is going to be with a tart or a tatin or a short pastry, short dough. So now we're going to remove it from the heat, and then we're going to assemble. Well, now what I like to do, again, this is optional, I'm going to put thyme in here. I think thyme goes so great with peaches. And the reason you put this in first is because, remember, after it's baked, it's going to come out upside down. We're assembling this upside down. This is like actually the top of the pastry. Okay. Now let's go ahead and start laying in our peaches. I tried to go in a nice like concentric circle or shingling them in there just to make it a little nicer. A few extra pieces here, we can go ahead and just kind of finagle them in there. Our oven is up to temperature. You can hear the alarm going off in the back. What else can be done too? You can also add walnuts or pecans to this if you wanted to. Just add a little crunchy texture. Okay, so now that we have that, we're gonna top it. So now we have our crust. We're gonna bring this out like so. I'm gently gonna push this down in. So this extra little bit coming over the top, I'm gonna actually remove this. Like so. This is plenty of extra. Because once it shrinks, it will shrink. I don't really want that lip, you know, coming up. I want it to shrink complete, so it ends up like nice and flat and flush. So picture like a pizza, how the toppings go to the end of the crust. So there you go. So now that's down in there, like so. Let's go ahead and place this into the preheated oven. 425 degrees Fahrenheit, 218 degrees Celsius. We're gonna bake this for about 20-25 minutes or so until the crust is nice and flaky, golden brown. All right, well here we are. After our 25 minutes, let's go ahead and remove it from the oven. That beautiful, nice brown, golden brown. Perfect. So now what to do? We're gonna allow this to sit for at least 30 minutes to set. We need the sugar and the caramel and everything to relax and settle. And once it sets, then we're gonna move on to removing it from the pan. Well, now that the Tatin has been sitting for about an hour, it is set, as you can see. So I'm gonna put it on medium heat, and I'm gonna let this sit on here for about a minute or so. All I want to do is soften that caramel or syrup that's on it. Once that softens, it'll free up from the pan, and I'm able to turn it out onto a serving dish. So it's been on for about a minute. What I'm gonna do is I'm gently gonna turn it to see if it's free. And look at that, it's spinning, right? A little bit of resistance, but that's not a big deal. We're gonna kill the heat, take our serving plate, put it over top. 1, 2, 3, very quickly. And there you have it. Uh-oh, only one piece for that. We didn't see anything, right? So there you have. What we'll do is we'll slide it off a little bit, clean up some of this excess, and we're gonna allow it to cool down, room temperature. We're gonna garnish it. Well, there you have it, my peach tart tatin. Not difficult to make. Only took, 10-15 minutes to assemble, 25 minutes to bake, and that's it, ready to go. Goes great with with any number of ice creams, from vanilla bean to a walnut, even fig, you name it. Very versatile. Put any type of fruit you like on top of it. Peaches, apricot, apples, pears, quince. You use berries if you like. Even orange is really nice on it. Feel free to modify as you like. Using bourbon, not using bourbon. Adding walnuts, or sometimes I make it. I'll brush the pastry, whether it's puff pastry or pie crust. I will brush it with butter. Add cinnamon. Sometimes I will add walnuts. Whenever I do something, like whenever I'm doing an apricot one, I will grind and cook poppy seed, and I will smear that on it and then top it with the apricots and then go that direction. Have fun with it. Thank you very much for joining. I hope you give this one a shot. Give it a whirl and tell me what you think about it. I got a feeling once you do it once, you're not gonna want to eat pie anymore. You're gonna be all over this one. Thanks again for joining us. You enjoy it.